not this physicality of me, where am I spurting from, but the reality, the reality. And the reality is you only, within you, the Atman. There is nothing else that is as real as you are. Everything else is not as real as you are. Because what is real, Bhagavan says, has to be the truth, Satya. And what is truth has to be eternal. There is only one thing that qualifies that. It's you, nothing else. So all these are fundamentals, imbibes, academic imbibes, Upanishad imbibes. You can pay the right respects and all that. But at the end of the day, is this enlightenment? Hell no, not at all. This is good academic knowledge. So insight, see, first and foremost, there is, Bhagavan has answered this in a different way to his different, questioners, depending upon where they are, So, there is nothing to be enlightened, reality is, because you are the pure self, right from the birth. You accumulate a lot of unwanted things and you have to let go of them. You might have started with an accumulation, or you might start accumulating more, and you have to let go of it. But there is always an insight. Everybody gets an insight, right? From Chinmayananda. Chinmayananda, the atheist boy at 16, went to Ramana Maharshi, sat in front of him, and Ramana Maharshi pointed him, and then he said, "Oh my God, this person took away my mind for last few minutes. Maybe he's mesmerizing me." Still he didn't accept it. But then later on, when he met his real guru, I don't know, I don't remember the exact, I think Tapovana, some Guruji, or Jnana, or somebody is guru of Chinmayananda, the mission person, a great self-realized being. Whoever that guru is, he says, even though he was my guru, Ramana Bhagavan was my true guru. So that's he had his insight then. JK had his insights. What did JK have? JK had a tendency to be absorbed totally into anything. I recently got this anecdote. He could basically manifest things so deeply into his absorbed state that Buddha, he said, has come. Buddha is here right now. But then JK knew that it was his manifestation. And the same manifestation is what Bhadrachalam Ramdas, or Tyaga Brahmam, Purandara Das, his Vitala, all have done. Manifestation within self. And they brought it out. Even take Dhruva. If you listen to me, the same Bhagavatam, it will be said differently. In the sense, Dhruva manifested what was within the few months of his devotional practice. The being within came out. The Narayana that was seeded in him by the Narada came out. Okay, again I am giving you academic, Puranic references and all this. This is all there. Everybody imbibes this, and the funny thing is these days everybody is saying we have to do bhakti, we have to do jnana, and we keep passing our time and keep saying this. No, do it. Start doing it. Don't need to say it to anybody. Saying it, if it helps you, say it. Do it. And when you are doing it, do it for the truest sense of doing it. Again, not like some investment that, okay, I need to, like a day trader. Day trader has got no, Kamina Bhakti is like a day trader. Day trader has got, in the stock market, he has got no affinity to any particular stock or belief or anything. He is just seeing what is flipping and he's putting his money, making money and bringing out. That is what Kamina Bhakti is. You see the Kamina Bhakti people, they'll go, you should point them to that tree and they'll worship that tree, and you point them to that idol, that puja, that mantra, they'll render that because they are very interested in fulfilling whatever they want. So whoever you point, they will do it as long as it look big enough, glorified enough, and they will render that meditative aspect to it, or whatever ritualistic aspect to it. Sorry, but no, that's not how it should be. You should be like that like a provident fund, since we are taking this as an example, to counter that. It should be like a well-studied, stock that, like an Apple stock. That this product will make. I'm not pushing Apple or Tesla, just trying to make a laukika point with respect to investment. The so-called, the blue band, I don't even have those terms. The high-scale stocks that will always be in the higher band, the tech stocks or whatever, that's how, in jnana strive should be. The strive to know God should be. If you're bhakti, then, surrender. And today morning it occurred to me, it's like a life buoy. Life buoy is not the soap, the Indian soap, but the life buoy is the rubber tube that we wear to get into an ocean. And because that life buoy is there and the life buoy is tied to a bigger boat, or, we feel secure to be floating in middle of that. So surrender is that. Around you, render, which is surrender to the divinity, and say that divinity will take care of me, in whatever circumstance. Will I fall? I don't care. If I fall, I fall. It was meant to be, right from this, wherever I'm sitting. It's relatively high from the ground, actually, about 7 feet. Okay. So that's that. So again, we're given some analogies, example. I haven't come upon the topic, and the core topic is, what is enlightenment or insight to enlightenment? And is there something called as that? There is nothing to be enlightened about, to be honest, but there is some transformation everybody has to happen. After if you've been to college and all, from your high school to college, and then from college to the higher college, your educational, there is a change in the way in which you do things. So likewise, like a ship that turns, you will slowly, your mindset will be driven in a different direction. And to do that, there are some initiation that happens, and each person has got a different kind of initiation that happens. For Ramana Bhagavan, it was that at age of 16, very soon he realized a simple experiment he did, nothing profound. If you look at it and think about it, all he did was, he was breathless for a few minutes, whatever that minutes may be. And he realized that within that few minutes, that within me, right now, this body will be treated as dead, but I'm not dead. I'm sitting inside it. He realized that very aspect of it. So if this is my state, why not just, like a mathematical progression, what is good for value of n plus 1, n plus 2, we do that, and then we prove the mathematical progression series. We all have studied that. Likewise, he extrapolated that and said, sorry, my talk is a little bit science and math oriented, because that's what I've been educated. If I was a Sanskrit scholar or a professor, I would have had a Vedic statement to all of this as an analogies, but the essence is the same. What I'm saying is that, at the end of the day, he had an insight that this Atman is there within me. You all have that insight too, but you don't linger on that, or I don't linger on that, but if I linger on that, that's enlightenment. Enlightenment is being in light all the time. Everybody's house has got light switch, but some are stingy. They don't keep the light on at the night. Good, electricity bill has to be kept down. Some are so stingy that they will use this torch light, because I'm just going to walk into that room for 2 minutes. Why should I burn 100 watt, 1000 watt electricity? They're stingy. So I'm just taking some extreme analogies to make this point. And eventually people forget that you have the light within you. And you have this external torch light and whatnot, but the light is within your house always. So you are the divinity, as I always feel, when you stand in front of even whichever deity it is, even, except for samadhi, I'll say a little differently there, but other than the samadhi, wherever you're standing in front of, you are the more divine being if you are pure in your heart at that minute, at that moment. There is no minute or second in the now. Now is eternal. In that now, you are more pious than when I stood in front of Tirupati, Govinda Swami, what is his name? Tirupati Perumal, we call him, Venkatramana. I was pure at that now. In total, I had no. So if you have that bend, if you stand in front of Arunachaleshwara, you are because that is a stone. That has to be done prana pratikshta, that has to be that yoni and the lingam has to be sealed annually with all the, annually or whenever, every 12 years, let us say, whenever the Kumbhabhishekam is done. You are pure if you keep yourself pure in that now. Forget about your past. Everybody has got a past. I always say, not in fun, but somewhat in fun also. Astavakra had got 8 twists. He didn't get those 8 twists just like that. He should have done something in his past, but he was the guru of Jnana, giving Janaka, who became a guru himself. Janaka was a jnani, and he was a guru of Janaka. And interestingly, Janaka's got a very good story there. What made Janaka so, he had got the goddess of wealth as his daughter, Sita, the Mother Earth's daughter and all that. Sri Ramachandra as his son-in-law, and, great, and he himself was having what made him so great, and there is a story. The short end of the story is that, Janaka in his previous life had sacrificed the highest level, to that point. We can go into that story some other time. Somebody wants to really know this Janaka story, please reach out to me. I will tell you the story. What made Janaka Janaka? Let us not divert ourselves from that point. So so the enlightenment. Sometimes we do need to get that spark and that, so sometimes, some people, depending upon how much you are in, for example, the horse that was in the gutter stuck, and 10 people were trying to pull that, and Yogiram Suratkumar said something, Jai Shri Ram, let this horse come out, and boom, the horse got all the energy to leap out. That's the story of Yogiram Suratkumar, its introduction to Tiruvannamalai in one way. So, and the horse jumped out. What did Yogiram did? Yogiram's mind connected with the horse mind, and he gave what the energies that were there already in the horse. Yogiram have an electric circuit and connect itself, and he's praying to he just connected with the horse and made the horse feel that you can come out with your own energies. And it did come out. He had that power to induce in that. When Ramana Bhagavan sat in silence, people all around him became blank. Maybe when people come in around you or me, they'll argue. Because you haven't done that, you haven't built that gravity. See, what is a gravity? Gravity is nothing but the mass of yourself that will bend the fabric of space and time. I'm really explaining the physics of gravity now. That is what gravity is. It bends the fabric of space and time. So you should have so much gravity that it will bend. Even so, that's what is sadhana. Realization is one thing, having, being in a state of realized is another thing. All the time, to be in that, once you are in that state of realized, you don't need anything. Or did you take bath, Shankar? No, I haven't done my bath yet. Did you do your puja? Maybe I do Ekakala Sandhya Vandana because I want to do that. I do that. Whenever I sit, I meditate or whatever. Forget me, I'm nothing, nobody. But I am the self. We are all self. We are all Arunachala. And that's what we're supposed to realize, right? So, I came here, people have asked me, what is your personal experience? For a person who had done a lot of reading, I needed something beyond reading, and I got that in few minutes. Now, yes, does meditation always require a light bell sound? Nothing, but actually, in my case, I did hear some bell sound. Whether maybe somebody else had walked by and it was my, mistaken identity, I don't know. Some digital, permutation combination happened that in my notepad, me came. Yes, you go and figure the math. In alphabet, the letter M and followed by letter E, what probability would cause that to come if you randomly insert your notepad, with your notepad app on, and But for me, when the me came, in Ramanashram for the first time, I thought Bhagavan is directly opened my, So to me, that became my experiment, and so it changed a lot of things within me. At least it induced a lot of things, and since then, I feel, very connected to this hill because experiences happened around this hill. But again, these are all triggers, At the end of the day, does the bomb require, not like the Deepavali bomb, we have a fuse that we light, but do you really need the fuse to light it, to help you light it carefully? Yes. But you remove the fuse and put the bomb in a fire, will it burst? Yes, it will burst. So you don't need all this, but sometimes, when you get that insight, you get that insight. One of my aunt said, that she suddenly realized, based on her, some gurus, I think his name is Omkarananda, he's a great man, COVID gave him his Mahasamadhi. So look, he got his Mahasamadhi thanks to COVID. He will be saying, not us, because we lost a great, man. But Omkarananda Swami, he said, in one of his speeches that, when you are in the darkness, who is within you feeling the darkness? And for her, that found very profound, because she experienced apparently. And that's it. You got to run with it now. Got to run with it. See, the thing is, at the end of the day, one has to be in the state of enlightenment. You have to give up. You have to give up a lot, because you have accumulated a lot. This body itself is an accumulation. Last 9 months, Tiruvannamalai has accumulated over me. I'm glad that way. But the body is accumulation. Why do we call it as vasana? Vasana means because something is stinking or something is perfuming nice smell, because there is some source, and because of that is wafting smell. Vasana. We all have got somewhere in us a source of accumulation, good or bad. All that thing has to go, because inside is the pure. The pure is pure. I don't need Sostra and mantra and all beyond my Atman. If I can be in the Atman, why do I need Sostra and mantra? Now, if I can't be in the Atman, I can use my Sostra and mantra like a ladder, like a stairs. One can go in to that state with all that help. Yes, if I have to climb down, I need a rope. All that is required. But to be there, you don't need any of it, because you are it. So, that's my few words on realization, enlightenment, and all that. Arunachala Siva. Arunachala Siva.